Hey guys, those are Communications. Welcome back to another review, this time of the 2015 film Fast and Furious 7, aka Furious 7. Um, this franchise has some really confusing titles now. You have Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, Fa Fast 5, I was like Fast 6, I believe, or was it Fast and Furious 6? And now it's Furious 7. Because were they trying to channel the Magnificent Seven? Is that really what they're trying to do? But anyway, I got to see this recently because I saw it with my stepdad, Troy. He paid for the ticket. That's the only reason why I saw this recently in the theater. And because I really wasn't planning on seeing this in the theater. If I had to pay for it with my own money, I really wasn't planning on doing that. And we just happened, my stepdad just happened to have a night off, and it was I didn't really want to see Chappie, and I was kind of curious about it, and I really like seeing movies in IMAX, so I was like, okay, let's give it a look. And I was gonna just to see it, in tribute to Paul Walker, and to help give some money to his charity. Okay, and I know the movie's been a huge hit. It's made over $400 million already. It's been huge, and that's good. I mean, some of that money's gonna go to Paul Walker's charity, and that's nice. And speaking of Paul Walker, this film, the send off it does to Paul is perfect. It really is. They couldn't have done a better job with it, and it gave me chills, and I cried like a baby at the end. I know I wasn't the only one. If that send off doesn't hit you right in the heart, you must be some heartless son of a bitch. That's all I gotta say. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But everybody reacts to things differently in terms of emotions. But man, that hit me right there, and I just bawled just cried my eyes out. Um, but honestly, I think the film itself, because the trailers, I was really kind of, this looks like they're taking it to a whole nother level and making it pretty much a cartoon now with a car flying through a skyscraper. Well, that car does not fly through only one skyscraper. It flies through not one, not two, but three. And that's the kind of shit you see in a Bayformers movie. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you see in a Transformers a movie directed by Michael Bay, and people are all like, "Yay!" with this, but then when Michael Bay does the same thing, like, "Boo, Michael Bay sucks. This is stupid." It's kind of like a double standard that's I don't understand. James Wan does it, but Michael Bay can't. It's whatever. I didn't care for that scene anyway. The CGI car flying through CGI fucking skyscrapers is fucking. It just it was a fucking cartoon. Um, but at the end of the day, I thought the film was entertaining, but I thought it was just above average entertainment. I'd probably say I like this more than The Gunman, but that's because the pacing of this film was a lot better. If The Gunman had better pacing, I probably like The Gunman more than Fast or Furious 7. Sorry, I'm getting my names mixed up. Um, Mainly because there's some good action, but there's some really, really, really shitty editing and some fucking awful shaky cam during the fight scenes. And some of the camera work is kind of pointless. I mean, it does a 360-degree camera spin when Michelle Rodriguez and Vin Diesel are talking on the phone. It's like, why do we need to do that? That's too much effort for a scene where somebody's talking. Um, and the climax was just, it was a bit much. CGI overload, a fucking drone that doesn't run out of fuel. It was a bit much even for a Fast and Furious film, at least to me. And I understand people just like upping the ante, but you look at the first Fast and the Furious, it wasn't that crazy. You look at the second Fast and Furious, wasn't that crazy. It wasn't so crazy where there's a fucking drone flying around in the middle of LA shooting missiles at people, and and some techno gadget called God's Eye that monitors everybody. and there's hacking involved and all of that. I mean, that it wasn't that crazy. Wasn't so crazy where you're jumping a car through three fucking skyscrapers. None of the other films were that over the top. I really don't think they were. They were not necessarily realistic, but they weren't car flying through three skyscrapers over the top. That's the thing that I'm having an issue with. But surprisingly enough, some of the over-top action sequences I thought were pretty entertaining. The skydiving car scene, this scene where the car skydive, was actually a lot more thrilling and exciting than I thought it would be. But the car chases were pretty fun and exciting, were practical for the most part. A lot of the car crashes and car chases were practical. Every now and then you have CGI, which is pretty noticeable, but they were pretty practical. Some of the explosions were practical too, but a lot of them were CGI. It was just kind of annoying. In the trailer, you saw the house explode, Vin Diesel's house explode in CGI. It looks like shit. It does. Even on IMAX, it looks like shit. It even added fake cinders, which look like shit after the fact. Why can't we just blow up a real house? They did that in Last Action Hero, and they did that in Lethal Weapon. Or was Lethal Weapon or Lethal Weapon 2? I mean, you don't really... It's not that hard. Blow up a real house. And then CGI smoke, it looked fake. The fight scene between Jason Statham and The Rock, it had its moments, but pretty much it was kind of forgettable. Mainly because it wouldn't stop shaking the fucking camera around. I don't get it. I don't understand what's up with the fucking shaky cam. Stop it. Who wants to watch a fight scene like this? Who wants to see that shit? I don't. I don't want to see it. I don't know who wants to see that shit. Excuse me, I'll fix my camera. Fuck. Fix the camera, come on. Ugh. I mean, who wants to see that shit? It's fucking annoying. Shaky cam, fucking action sequences. I don't get it. Why? The fight scene with Tony Jaa and Paul Walker was well choreographed, but it was like shaking the camera everywhere, going ooh doo doo, whoa 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 ooh whoa It's fucking annoying. It was annoying watching me do that, wasn't it? Well, it's annoying watching it on the fucking IMAX, and it's annoying watching it in the action movies. Cut it out. Stop it. I can't think of one person that I know that actually likes that shit. So why do to seem like every action movie still does this shit? Even Captain America: Winter Soldier, which I really like, did that shit. The gunman did it, and now the fucking the Furious 7 is doing this shit. And Tony Jaa gets 2 fight scenes with Paul Walker. First one, he gets away, and then says a stupid line of dialogue. He goes like, "Too slow." Too slow? God damn it, you're giving me bad flashbacks to RoboCop. Too slow, boy. Ugh. And what does Paul Walker do? He quotes the same thing when he gets the upper hand on Tony Jaa at the end of the movie. The way he dispatches him is pretty cool, but that was pretty decent, but he says the same line. That's his one line. He just quotes the same one line. Too slow. Ugh. This is awful. Who wrote this shit? Who wrote that? I'm not talking about the whole movie is shit. I'm just saying who wrote that shit? Who wrote that specific piece of shit line of dialogue? I mean, that is fucking awful. Chris Morgan. Now some of the lines of dialogue were fun though. I mean, the stuff with Tyrese, he had some fun lines. He was the Joker guy anyways. It was fun. Some of the Rock had some good one-liners, that were pretty fun. And he's talking to Jason Statham. Is like, I'm gonna give you a beating so bad that you wish your mother never opened her legs, or something like that. Wish your mother never spread her legs open. So that there are some good one-liners like that, and there's a lot of fun to be had with the film, but there are some serious issues that prevent me from loving the movie. I think it's above average. I would say I liked it, but I did not love Fast or Furious 7, sorry. My bad. I did not love Furious 7 because of the fact that it has some really shitty shaky cam in the fight scenes, some bad lines of dialogue, some really crappy editing. Um, some of the action sequences, especially near the end, were just too over the top for my tastes. It's full of CGI. The way that Vin Diesel beats Jason Statham was lame to me. It's even a lame line. He's getting in the course the fight scene was a shaky cam, and they just took a bunch of car parts and started smacking them together a little bit, which I don't know. I thought it was done. That was done better with in the Street Night with Jeff Speakman with wrenches, where he hit people in the face and blood sprayed everywhere. Um, but it had its moments, but the fight and Jason Statham himself just seemed like a lame villain. His name was Deckard too, Deckard Shaw. I'm like Deckard, what? This Deckard from Blade Runner? So so he's he's Deckard Shaw, and he just shows up. Even when he shows up in the beginning of the film, he just it's the aftermath. It just shows how much damage he caused. It didn't show him actually do it. Just kind of like, okay, it's kind of lame. It just showed him actually shooting these people in the hospital and blowing shit up, and that would have been more epic than just showing the aftermath. It's kind of lazy. But speaking of lazy, he just shows up randomly. He just shows up when the plot needs him to show up, and that's really about it. But he's better than Digimon Hansu, who's fucking awful in this movie. His performance is pure garbage. This acting is atrocious in this movie. Shut! Get him! God damn it! Ah! That's pretty much what his performance is. Just a bunch of that's it. That's really all Digimon Hansu does in this movie. And sport a goatee. That's it. A silver goatee and get them! Baya! Kill them! What are you doing? This is really terrible. Holy shit! Give me that gun! I will kill them myself! It's a really, really terrible, terrible performance. Michelle Rodriguez's character, she's basically dealing with her past and amnesia, but all of a sudden she just conveniently remembers everything by the end of the movie, and that's what brings Dom back to life, which is really fucking corny, which is one aspect of the film I didn't like too. You have the fucking ending where Digimon Hansu gets blown up by Vin Diesel driving through CGI parking structure, which is falling apart, jumping off the fucking parking structure. And, and what does this shit remind me of? He's going towards a helicopter, and he takes a bag full of grenades, hangs it on the edge of the helicopter. Of course, you don't see that after the fact. Crashes the car. I'm like, this shit reminds me of Good Day to Die Hard. That's not good. That's not good. And The Rock shoots the bag of grenades and blows up the helicopter with Digimon Hansu in it. And probably didn't say his name correctly, but I don't care. He's Digimon in this movie. Has all the acting qualities and prowess of a Digimon too. And so I was like, really? Did they Die Hard? We're gonna do that shit? Or I like that better than the Expendables or the helicopter when Terry Crews threw what is like an artillery shell, like a really big artillery shell, like a gun, like it was like a can. It was like a basically threw that explosive shell in the air and then shot it, blew up the helicopter that way. I like that a little bit better than just hanging the bag, which reminded me of fucking Good Day to Die Hard, and then shooting it, it blows up. And even like The Rock shows up and blows up the drone by driving an ambulance into it, which I didn't mind. I thought was kind of cool. Kicks with the minigun and shoots some people. Kurt Russell, I liked him. He has a line of dialogue where he's saying like, I'm just a guy. You can call me Mr. Nobody. I'm like, no, you're not just a guy. You're Kurt fucking Russell, and you're not never Mr. Nobody. In fact, to me, you're a bigger star than Vin Diesel. You really are. You are the star to me. Um, but that's just me. And I'm not the only one because Kurt Russell to me has done an insurmountable, huge amount of great films that outnumber the great movies that Vin Diesel has done in his career. Um, so yeah, Paul Walker, he had some stuff to do. It was fun to see. I definitely did. I definitely did get pretty choked up in a couple scenes in the film. They did a good job. The emotional, that's one aspect of the film they really did well. They handled really well. The emotion, the whole aspect of family, they really handled that really well in this film. And that's why I think honestly they should just end the series after this. It felt like it came full circle anyway. Paul Walker is no longer with us. He rides off into the sunset. You tie up all the loose ends. You stop Deckard Shaw. You get revenge for the death of Han. You do all this kind of stuff, and I just think having another sequel after this just seemed cheap, kind of tasteless and unnecessary. But since it made this much money, I guarantee there's gonna be a Fast 8 or a Furious 8 or whatever they want to call it. But I really think this should have been the last film in the franchise because it really does feel like it's a film that everything ends full circle. Um, and I really think it'd be hard to really follow up this movie, especially with the way it ends, which is a really emotional, powerful farewell to Paul Walker and his character in the film. Um, but yeah, there's some of the shenanigans, some of the jokes aren't really that funny. Some are just cringe-inducing. Other ones I had fun with. So there is a lot to be fun to be had. Like I mentioned, it's entertaining. I was never bored with this film, but there were some things that I just didn't care for. Bad shaky cam during the fight scenes, shitty bad editing during the fight scenes, weird camera techniques, the climax, which to me kind of felt like a clusterfuck. It was drones flying around, a helicopter shooting at people, them in a car, playing a game of keep away with this chick, Ramsey, who's a computer hacker trying to hack into God's eye and so forth and so on. It almost felt like it was something out of place of the Fast and Furious movie. Hackers? I know Ludacris's character is supposedly a hacker, but I don't know, it just felt kind of out of place to me. And then, I mean, the scene where they fall out of the plane with the cars and they get on the mountain and they have a chase on the mountain, I thought that was more in line with what the Fast and Furious franchise is, and I didn't mind that because there was a lot of practical in that. Um, the scene in Abu Dhabi, which cracked me up when they said when Ramsey said, "Yeah, I sold it to somebody and I know in Abu Dhabi." I'm like, Abu Dhabi? Isn't that where Garfield sends Normal all the time? just package just package to Abu Dhabi. You say hi to Normal when you get there. But anyways, it's like Garfield. Did you send Normal to Abu Dhabi? Uh, just, just imagine a comment Vin Diesel shows up with a Hey, hey, John, I got this package for you. Garfield, you just said Normal to Abu Dhabi again. Why would I do that, John? No, no, of course I did. Of course I did. Anyway, yeah, Garfield is kind of is a dick. But anyway, so the scene in Abu Dhabi, you have a fight scene with Michelle Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey, which isn't much. Um, it really isn't. It's a lot of shaky cam and a lot of fucking stupid shit. All the fight scenes, for the most part, I thought were kind of lame because of the fucking shaky cam. Because of everything shaking all over the fucking place. Like the cameraman is having a seizure. And then Tony Jaa had some good kicks though. They at least slow mode for a couple shots so he can show his martial arts moves, which is nice. Too slow though is really shitty. Um, some of the stuff, like I said, I mean, some of the action scenes were okay. Jason Statham, basically, that was so lame. He falls into what happens is Vin Diesel basically realizes, I guess he gets in the target of Jijimon Hansu, and Hansu decides, fuck it, I'm gonna betray my employer, and I'm gonna blow up, try to blow up. He blows up Jason Statham, with a rocket, shoots a rocket off the helicopter. It hits the parking structure, and it's cracking. And so just Vin Diesel says this really cringe-inducing, lame ass one-liner. He's talking about his thing about street fights is that the street always wins. He smashes the street with his boot, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Think about a street fight. The street always wins. What the fuck is that shit, Vin Diesel? There's a lot of lame one-liners. Too slow. The street always wins. And then Jason Statham falls into CGI concrete parking structure land, which is lame. And he doesn't die, I guess, because at the end of the movie he gets put into handcuffs and he's put into this security facility. And The Rock has some fun one-liners where and Jason Statham's like, this can't hold me. And then of course uh, the Rock's like, 36 miles of concrete and steel. And if you manage to get through that, my fist in a body bag will be waiting for you on the other side. So you better start digging. So I didn't mind that. So there were some fun one-liners in that respect, but there are also some really bad ones. So that's the thing to me. That's why this isn't a movie that I love, because there's some action sequences I like, the skydiving car scene and the chase on the mountain. There's some action sequences I don't care for, the stuff in Abu Dhabi, um, except for the stuff where they end up trying to corner Jason Statham and Kurt Russell gets to take out some night vision goggles and shoot some people. I didn't mind that. And I like the way that was shot when his reinforcements come in, Jason Statham's reinforcements. They have a lot of red lighting in the background in the pitch black darkness, and I like the way that was shot. Um, and I did some of the aspects of the climax I didn't mind, but at the end of the day, it kind of could do without it. Really, it could have just toned it down a little bit. It was a bit too over the top for my taste, and the fight with Steven Statham and Vin Diesel was kind of shitty, and then with a shaky cam, and they're just hitting each other with car parts, kind of boring. And then the street always wins. So what the fuck is that? And then of course he's not dead. The love of his of Ortiz brings him back. Letitia brings him back. Really brings him back to life. But the send off to Paul Walker at the end was really really great, and I think that that alone I think was worth the price of admission for me just to see that send off to Paul. They did a really great job with that, and the CGI they did a good job with it. I thought it was noticeable at the end, but it wasn't laughable like some people have said it was. I thought it wasn't bad CGI. Bad CGI is young Jeff Bridges and Tron Legacy. This was pretty solid CGI for the most part, I thought. And yeah, it was a good send off to Paul, and I thought it would be a perfect send off to the franchise and just send it off on the right note instead of drag this out even longer and try to up the ante one more time, which I don't even think I would really, I don't think I could take it. Because if they up an ante even more, it's going to be a fucking cartoon, even more than it already fucking is. And it's just, the send off to Paul Walker was the best part of the film. And I like the action sequence with the skydiving cars. I didn't mind that. And there's a few other little bits of action I didn't mind. Um, some of the stuff that Tony Jaa, some of his kicks I thought were pretty cool. Um, but for the most part, and the chase at the end with the keep away with the drone and so forth, and I didn't mind the idea of God's Eye, even though it didn't feel kind of out of place with the Fast and Furious film. I didn't mind it because I thought it was kind of interesting. And Kurt Russell was nice to see Kurt Russell. And there were some moments in the last half that I didn't mind. The Rock coming in, kicking some ass, shooting with a minigun, crashing the ambulance into the drone. Uh, some of there were some practical explosions in there, but there was also some really kind of shitty looking CGI. The parking structure is definitely one of them for me. And but the send off to Paul was great. But I think the film, it just everything else in the movie pales in comparison to that. to me because it was just so emotional, so powerful, and so well done that just no matter how fun and entertaining some of the other action sequences were, it just doesn't compare to the send off to Paul at the end. Um, but anyway, I really don't know what to say about Furious 7, except it didn't make me furious like I thought it would. I thought it was gonna be a rant. I thought I was gonna hate the movie. But I have to ultimately say I liked it, but I did not love it. And part of me's wondering if that was just a little bit of nostalgia for the late great Paul Walker. Maybe this last little send off to Paul is making the film a little bit better to me than it really should be. Who knows? Maybe I'll watch it again sometime down the road. It won't hold up as well. But I know that I definitely don't like this as much as I liked Fast 6 or I liked Fast 5. Fast Five is my favorite of the franchise, or Too Fast, Too Furious. And I haven't seen Tokyo Drift in a long time, so I don't know what to say about that. I definitely would say I like this more than Fast and Furious, which I think is the worst film in the franchise. Um, by far the worst. But I'd say this is one of the weaker films in the franchise. I gotta be honest. The send out to Paul was great, but some of the action sequences were kind of lame. Lame one-liners, a shitty fight between Jason Statham and Vin Diesel. This is what we led up to, smacking around with car parts, and the street always wins. Uh, what? It was anticlimactic. Vin Diesel didn't even hit him. He isn't even the one that knocked him out. It was a rocket blast to send his ass into the fucking parking structure and knocked him out. All Vin Diesel did was stomp his feet. But anyway, I really don't know what to say about Fast Furious 7, except as a rate out of 5 stars. Like I said, I think it's above average, entertaining movie. That's why I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I wouldn't give it any more than that because of the issues that I mentioned that I think really hurt the film for me personally. And if you think it's great, there aren't very many issues, and the issues I mentioned don't bother you, be my guest. But I thought some of the shaky cam in this is really, really distracting and really annoying and really hurt a lot of the fight scenes, which is really too bad. And I thought a little bit about it was disappointing, especially the fight between Vin Diesel and Jason Statham. But anyway, I really don't know what to say about the film. I've said enough already. And thank you for watching my review, and I will see you guys later. See ya.